As the winter started to sink its claws in earlier every single day, I could feel the cold counting down the days until it owned me. If I wanted to survive the deep freeze, I had to move fast. My crafting skills were horrible. Half the stuff I needed, I didn't even have the skill to craft them. So I queued up every project I could stomach for the experience, then headed out to scavenge iron near the lake before the snow buried every node. When I reached the lake, most of it had already been picked clean. A couple of slow-moving zombies shuffled around the lake like they were waiting for the dinner bell. I put them down quietly, pried loose whatever little iron I could find from the nodes, and stood there knowing the winter was yet another day closer. That's when it hit me. Sitting around waiting for the world to respawn wasn't even a plan. It would eat up way too much good daylight and time. The big points of interest, the prison, the police station, the mine yard, they were all still sitting there with fat loot nobody dared to crack open since the early days. Dangerous? Hell yeah. Crawling with zombies? Absolutely. But the winter doesn't kill you faster than January without a coat, no food, and a warm place to rest your head. I checked my nearly empty bag, tightened the grip on my axe, and started heading towards the cities. The cities would have the stuff I need. Time to roll the dice before the snow made rolling impossible. As I got to the gas station, I remembered something others had forgotten. When the world collapsed, they turned the old prison into a triage center. 2 stories of bandages, antibiotics, IV bags, morphine, everything were in short supply of. For weeks I avoided it. Too many of the dead were still roaming the hallways, but today the math finally added up. No more painkillers, no more sutures. One bad cut, one fever, and we're done for. Today was the day that I hope would never come. I checked the magazine on my pistol one last time. A few rounds left. I slipped the axe through my belt and started walking. The hospital's red brick silhouette waited at the end of the street. Windows dark, front door chained, everything boarded up, and the barbed wire fence around it seemed like it went on forever. It's now or never. I crossed the street. I opened the door and stepped inside. The smell hit me first, a smell of floor wax and rotten flesh, then the silence, the deafening silence. I'm already in. I hope luck is on my side today. After slipping into the main building, I shoved aside some cardboard boxes that were blocking the only window with decent light. The glass was painted shut, decades of neglect sealed it tight. One solid swing of my axe, and the pane shattered. I climbed through the jagged frame and dropped into the overgrown service yard. A 10-foot chain link fence topped with rusted barbed wire circled the main parking lot like a prison. No way I was picking that padlock, and climbing the fence would shred me to ribbons. Then I spotted it, an abandoned yellow school bus, keys still dangling in the ignition, parked 40 feet away. Perfect. She started up right away. I threw it into reverse and eased the rear end right up against the fence. The roof of the bus gave me just enough height. I scrambled up the front of the bus, balanced on the warm metal. That's when I heard them. 2 zombies lurched out from behind the delivery building on the other side, skin gray and split, jaws working hungrily, eyes locked on me like I was a walking meal. Their snarls echoed across the empty parking lot. No time to second guess. I took 3 steps across the roof and launched myself over the barbed wire. I hit the asphalt hard, rolled, came up with my axe already swinging. One skull caved with a wet crunch. The second zombie got the pointy end through the eye socket before it could grab me. They dropped and stayed down. I wiped the gore on my sleeves, breathing hard, the metallic stink of blood mixing with ever-present rot in the air. The parking lot stretched out ahead, cracked and weed-choked, shrouded in thick chemical fog that burned my throat. Through the haze, I could just make out a silhouette of the administration building, 2 stories of broken windows and flapping banners. I moved fast, boots crunching on broken glass, until I reached the main entrance. Solid steel. No give. Locked, of course. I knelt, pulled out my homemade picks from my backpack, 2 bent files and a tension wrench that I made from a street sign bracket, and went to work. The lock was old but stubborn. Sweat stung my eyes. 30 seconds. 40 seconds, then a heavy clunk as the deadbolt slid back. I gripped the handle, took a slow breath, and eased the door open just wide enough to slip inside. Once I made it around the corner, I could see the bodies littering the hallway corridors, flies buzzing around the corpses, feeding on their rotten flesh, furniture piled against the walls with blood splattered across the paint-chipped walls as far as the eye can see. The lights were on their last leg, dimly flickering ever so slightly, illuminating the desolate cold hallways which were once teeming with life. I knew the mission. I needed to get in every room so I can salvage whatever medical supplies were left behind, and from the looks of the corridors, this was gonna take a bit of willpower. Good thing I made extra lockpicks, because it seemed like every single one of these doors down the hallway were either blocked with furniture or locked from the inside. The shades were drawn down, blanketing each room's horror story with darkness, bodies littering the floor, peppered with piles of trash all around. Imagining what must have happened here in the final moments, my mind escapes me for a second, but I need to stay focused on my goal so I wouldn't be consumed by the dead and left behind like one of these stories that were untold. From the sounds of the distant low groans, I wasn't going at it alone. There were some signs of life, but would you really call these abominations alive? I make my way across the first floor, picking through every one of the cabinet drawers I could get my cold, sweaty hands on, one after another, time ticking away at a rapid pace, the sun going down just as fast. Staying silent, I shuffle across the room, searching closets methodically, looking for anything left behind that would help me stay alive, even if it was just for one day longer. I could hear the dead in the hallways bumping into stuff, letting out painful groans. Their steps haunt my soul, sending chills up my spine, but I need to stay focused. My existence was hanging in the balance. I continue to rummage, a box of bandages here, syringes there. I stuff my bag faster and faster, praying I don't get noticed, maybe even surrounded, or worse off, eaten alive. I move on to the next room. It's dark, bitter cold, and just the smell of human flesh rotting away was enough to choke me to death. I could feel the pain left behind in these rooms' walls. My mind starts to wander off, the silent screams haunting my concentration. What led to this? Is there a cure, or would I just become another tainted soul wandering the land aimless like the dead? That's when I find it, the motherlode. Medical supplies for days. My eyes lit up like a kid in a candy store. I grab handfuls, medicated bandages, alcohol, cold medicine, aspirins, you name it, all sealed tight and fresh for the taking. I was ecstatic, but knew it was worth nothing if I didn't make it out and home with the loot. I keep my composure, quietly fill my pockets first, and fill my backpack to the brim. There's so much stuff here I could hardly hold it all. This moment made it all worth it. The medical supplies here would assure my health beyond the days to come, maybe even get me through the cold winter nights. No time to waste. I open more closets, keep stuff in my backpack till it's so full the rusty zippers almost break. I want to grab more stuff, but being greedy might just be the line that separates me from making it out and dying for a few extra items. My bag is so full it's exploding at the seams. My pockets are overflowing with items. It's now or never. I need to leave, and I need to leave now, but I can still hear the dead trampling things in the hallway. Hopefully I can remember where the exits are, but at what price? My heart is beating so fast. I'm full of adrenaline. Making a mistake now can cost me everything. Time to secure my bag and head for the promised land. I could swim in the spoils while I'm safe at home. I check down the hallway to see where the screams of anguish are coming from. Although I can't see much, I know they're out there, and from the sounds of it, they're hungry for a taste of flesh. Calmly, I set off for the exit, step by step, one step at a time, slowly hoping not to stir up a racket. The corridor is shrouded with immediate danger and tons of mold-covered debris in my path, but I can't stop now. I've got too much to lose here. Sneaking down the hall one step at a time, the old floorboards creaks aloud and they haunt my soul to its core, debris crunching underneath my boots with every single step as I make it closer to the exit. I slowly make it down the bottom of the stairwell and turn the corner. That's when I see it, the suffering moans that stand between me and freedom. The hall is full of a bunch of loose, straggling zombies, hungry, tainted, groaning, and foaming from their mouth for a taste of human flesh. They spot me with their glazed over eyes, their expressions are full of pain. Their hatred blankets the corridor to the point it swallows my soul, and they lock their evil gaze upon me. It's all or nothing. Going back is not an option now. I need to muster up whatever gas I have left in my tank and handle my business. I grip my axe tightly, take a deep breath, fire up all the hatred inside my body, and then I paint the cold hallway walls with their brains, one after another, hacking and slashing, all while making sure not to get bit. I focus all my hatred at them. This is for those who lost their lives in this building, the people who were consumed alive, those who had fallen, and most important, this is for the ones I loved that I lost. I could see the exit in the distance. My face is covered in their brain matter and blood. Fighting closer and closer to the door, I'm almost out. I just need a little push. My backpack feels like it's 1,000,000 pounds. My arms are feeling like they're jelly from swinging this axe so much. I'm almost spent. I need a push. I could see the sunlight bouncing off the blood-filled cracked floor tiles. One last push and I'm home free. Only 2 zombies stand between me and the steel door. I take one last deep breath, focus all my energy and disdain to a blood-soaked axe, and then I let it rip. I press my cold steel blade through the back of their skulls, and just like that, they're down, and I think, was it finally over? Am I free? That's when I feel the warm touch of the sun's ray dancing on my skin for the first time in what seems like an eternity. I made it out just as the night was closing in. Time to head back home and count my spoils. Take inventory on all my medical supplies I've got, but most of all, shower off the debt that covered me from head to toe and get some well-deserved rest. Tomorrow is a new mission.